Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Now, if you may recall, during the past 2 seasons on my show, I shared my thoughts and experiences on a 3D Disney attraction which both used to be at Disney California Adventure but are still at Walt Disney World. Those being It's Tough to Be a Bug and Muppet Vision 3D. However, for this special episode, I'd like to share my thoughts on a special 3D show that I've known about ever since 2003. And I'm really happy that it's been at DCA ever since 4 years ago. So, let's get started. First opening at the Magic Kingdom on October 8th, 2003, this is Mickey's Philharmagic. Now, let's get started. In this 12-minute 3D attraction, stagehand Donald Duck secretly puts on Mickey Mouse's sorcerer hat and conducts an anthropomorphic symphony orchestra. But the proceedings go awry when the irascible Donald is sucked into a tuba and is taken on a wild fantasy ride through a variety of musical numbers from classic Disney films. So, what do I think of this show? Well, in my personal opinion, this is such a fun, zany, and nostalgic 3D show, and it's another one of my favorite attractions at the happiest place on earth ever since before COVID-19. And to further explain why I love this show, let's move on to Mustang notes. The attraction was directed by George Schreibner, best known for animating A Chipmunk Christmas and The Black Cauldron, and he directed films like Oliver and Company and Mickey Mouse in The Prince and the Pauper. The show is said to be one of a very select number of attractions in the Disney theme parks in which the Walt Disney Imagineering team has collaborated with another division of the Walt Disney Company. In this instance, it was Walt Disney Animation Studios. This same partnership developed the Fantasmic shows at Disneyland and Disney Hollywood Studios. Between the two companies, some of Disney's top talent worked together, including Disney veteran Alex Mann, who was instrumental in developing and scripting the final story. They even brought in animators Glenn Keane and Nick Ranieri to reanimate Ariel and Lumiere into 3D. Early in development, Tinkerbell was set to be the star of the attraction, with Donald Duck taking the role instead, as Michael Eisner thought that Tink was too sweet and Donald would create more comedic conflict. Speaking of which, most of Donald's dialogue is actually archival recordings by his original voice actor Clarence Ducky Nash, while his current voice actor Tony Anselmo recorded 5 new lines for the character in this show. Now, believe me when I say that the last time I ever talked about Mickey's Philharmagic was back in 2021 when I labeled it as an honorable mention on my top 15 attractions at Disneyland Resort. And like I said in that video, I was very close to experiencing the show back in December 2014 when I visited Walt Disney World with YMCA's New Horizons. But sadly, I wasn't able to. But thankfully, 5 years later, on April 26, 2019, I was really excited when I heard news of the show coming to the Sunset Showcase Theater at Disney California Adventure, which used to host Muppet Vision 3D and, for the first time in forever, a Frozen sing-along celebration. Also, later that year, the entrance to the show moved to the side of the building, right next door to the award winner's hot dog place. And to me, I think the new entrance fits perfectly with the Hollywood theme. And I like that the hallway queue includes posters of several Disney characters performing their own musical acts, like the Genie from Aladdin, Willie the Whale from Make Mine Music, Ariel and her sisters from The Little Mermaid, Hades from Hercules, along with the Big Bad Wolf and the 3 Little Pigs, and the 3 Caballeros. Also, I think the theater's lobby, which sadly doesn't include a pre-show, is a nice relaxing room, And while waiting for the theater doors to open, guests can listen to orchestral music from Fantasia, Fantasia 2000, and other Disney films. Plus, while I do miss the Muppets at DCA, I like how the Imagineers made pretty good use of the theater, and I like that it also utilizes the side panels for a more immersive experience. Kind of like what they did for a few of the sneak peeks they played there from 2010 to 2021. Plus, I like that a couple of Mickey's friends have a job during the show. For example, not only is Mickey Mouse the host and maestro, but Goofy acts as the stage manager who admits the guests into the main theater, as well as operating the lights and the curtains, and Minnie acts as the announcer who reminds everybody not to eat, drink, smoke, or use flash photography. And she tells everybody when to put on their 3D opera glasses before the show starts. As for the main character, Donald Duck, who works as the stagehand, well, in my opinion, while he's still a hot-headed duck, sometimes he does get into a lot of funny antics throughout the whole show, like when he gets sucked into a magic musical vortex and when he's launched across the theater by a tuba and into the back wall. As for the animation, well, in my opinion, the animation for this Disney attraction is really impressive, and I think it might have been the inspiration for the animation for Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas, which I've already blogged last year. And the 3D looks pretty good too. Plus, I like that the stage during the beginning and the ending has a blue curtain frame, and I think the show has pretty neat effects like wind, scents, water, and lights. And now, let's talk about the show's song numbers. The first song in the show is the Mickey Mouse March, which is played by a series of instruments that come to life when Donald puts on Mickey's sorcerer hat without his permission. And to me, this is a pretty clever and classical song to use before Donald is sucked into various Disney songs. Plus, it gets an epic reprise conducted by Mickey at the end. Our next song is Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast, performed by Lumiere. Now, I have to admit, it's been over a year since I last blogged this Disney classic, and I think Be Our Guest has got to be one of my favorite Disney songs from the 1990s, mainly due to it being an up-tempo Broadway and cabaret style. Also, I found it pretty hilarious when Donald gets his face burnt by a pie. Next we come to the Sorcerer's Apprentice from Fantasia. During this sequence, the magic brooms splash water on Donald while washing away the dirty dishes along with the magical hat. To me, ever since Walt Disney brought it to life on the big screen with Mickey Mouse as the star, this music is still considered a fan favorite. Anyway, after getting splashed too many times, Donald snatches a bucket away from a small broom and tries to get his revenge, but only gives it back when a gigantic broom comes in and spills water on him. Plus, this music is later used at the end when Mickey uses his hat to restore everything back to normal. Next up is Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid, sung by Princess Ariel as she adds the magical hat to her collection. To me, ever since my early childhood, this song is very emotional, and it's the kind of song that makes me sympathize with Ariel, since, as my computer AI said a few months ago, me and Ariel do share a lot in common. However, while Ariel dreams of being on land, I have a dream to be part of the Disney team and family. Also, I'll never forget the time when I met Ariel's voice actress Jodie Benson back in 2020 via GalaxyCon, and after hearing Halle Bailey sing it during the 2023 live-action remake, this song is more emotional than I remember. Anyway, I like that this scene features a cameo from Ariel's best friend Flounder, and I like that Donald wears scuba goggles while swimming. Plus, I think the funniest part is when Donald gets shocked by an electric eel when he tried to kiss Ariel. And now we come to I Just Can't Wait to Be King from The Lion King, sung by Simba and a menagerie of African animals rendered in a 3D paper cutout style. Now, while I haven't done a blog on the 1994 animated hit film yet, though I was originally going to back in June if I wasn't so busy, I still consider this as another one of my favorites, and we should all thank Elton John and Tim Rice for writing and composing it. Also, I think Zazu's parts are pretty funny, like when he pulls at a light switch cord. Next we come to the show's newest song, ever since 2021, Un Poco Loco from Pixar's Coco, sung by Miguel Rivera and his great-great-grandfather Hector. During the song, Donald tries to get the magical hat away from Dante while riding Pepita, and then he runs on stage joining in the mariachi. In my opinion, this song makes you want to jump up and dance the night away. Plus, I like the part where Donald jumps from one skeleton to another to try to get the hat, and I think his dancing is almost similar to the time when he danced the Lilongo dance in The Three Caballeros. Next is You Can Fly from Peter Pan. During this song, Donald is given the ability to fly after Peter Pan and Tinkerbell sprinkle some pixie dust on him. To me, while this scene is the shortest in the whole show, this is another timeless Disney song, and I like how the song gives us a nice message about faith, happiness, and believing. Plus, I also find it funny to be talking about Peter Pan again, considering that this year is the 70th anniversary of the 1953 animated classic. The last song to talk about is A Whole New World, sung by Aladdin and Jasmine. During this scene, Donald follows them on a magic carpet of his own while flying through Agrabah, and he retrieves the magical hat thanks to Jasmine placing it on his head, only for Iago to sneak up and knock the hat off. Anyway, in my opinion, ever since my early childhood, and ever since I got to perform in Aladdin with Musical Theater Village 10 years ago, this song has been regarded by Disney fans as one of the best animated romance songs ever. And while watching this scene, it really makes you feel like you're flying too. Also to note, when I saw Alan Menken in concert at the Segerstrom back in September 2016, he actually said that working with Tim Rice felt like a whole new world for him. And now on to my final words. Overall, Mickey's Philharmagic has got to be one of the most timeless and underrated attractions at the Disney parks. It has fantastic and whimsical animation, great 3D effects, and breathtaking visuals. The songs from Be Our Guest to A Whole New World are very nostalgic, and I can't help but sing along while watching. Also, Donald Duck is a really zany main character while trying to retrieve the magical hat, and I think his role is kind of similar to Mickey's during Fantasia. Plus, the characters he meets, like the Magic Brooms, Ariel, Simba, Lumiere, Aladdin, Peter Pan, even Miguel, always bring a smile to my face. So, is this attraction worth checking out? Well, yeah, if you're a Disney fan or if you love beloved Disney songs. And trust me, even though I still miss Muppet Vision 3D, I'm very happy that this show has been added to Disney California Adventure ever since 2019. Plus, not only is this show in the Florida and California Disney parks, but it can also be seen in Hong Kong, Tokyo, and Paris. So, if you ever get the chance, be sure to check this show out. And it's also one that your kids and your families will enjoy. As for my rating, I'll give it a full 100%. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me next time where I finally begin my 2023 Hearts-Warming Christmas Marathon. Mustang Power.